is up and is recognized for 5 minutes, and he is appearing virtually, so he will be on the screen. Mr. Khanna, do we have you?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to use my 5 minutes for 3 different parts. One, to follow up on the chairman's comments about the office culture article, on Mr. Gallagher on China, and hopefully on Yemen. I read the Foreign Affairs article, and they said the Pentagon should look more like Apple computers. And I was, of course, struck by that, given that I represent Apple computers and Apple Park. One of the reasons that I think the article made that point is that with technological change so fast and so rapid, we need to be adaptive. In Silicon Valley, you have startups that beat incumbents with huge, larger bank balances because they're innovative. And I guess my question for you, Secretary Austin and Chairman Milley, is do you agree that critical to leading China against China in the 21st century is having technological superiority? And have you spent time with Tim Cook and Sundar Pichai and others in Silicon Valley? And are you open to doing that?
I have spent time with the CEO of Google, and while there are parts of us that really seriously need to be more streamlined and more adaptive, which I really embrace that, I would say that the Department of Defense turning into Google is probably not something that I would envision. But I clearly...
I'm not suggesting that, Secretary Austin, but I'm suggesting that we take the best innovative parts of the culture. I think that's what the article suggests.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that.
And I would second that. Our need for innovation is critical. I think that we are an inheritor of a industrial age system that goes way back, not only the building, but the process, our programming systems, et cetera, all date back to the 50s and 60s, that sort of thing. So it does need to be updated. And I think getting some of the best practices out of not only Silicon Valley, but other commercial best practices is definitely worthwhile. I've personally spent some time out there, and that helped when I was Chief of Staff of the Army. That helped in the concept of Army Futures Command and a few other initiatives we did. So I do think that's a very valuable use of time to go out and take a look at best practices in the commercial world, apply them to the defense industry or Defense Department.
Well, thank you, General. And if I can be of any help, let me know. And I also think tech companies have an obligation to be doing more to assist our military. So it's reciprocal. On Representative Gallagher's point, I share, of course, his concerns with China's potential invasion of Taiwan. I guess my question is, wouldn't the situation with Russia actually be a significant deterrent to China? I mean, the crushing sanctions on Putin, you've got to think, if you're Xi Jinping, that the world would be unified and China's economy would be devastated if they thought of any aggressive action. So wouldn't you say that Xi Jinping would be having second thoughts, given that he's seen President Biden rally the world and the economic impact such a move would entail?
I certainly would, and I would certainly think that he also values the economic opportunities that are present there in Western Europe.
Let me ask 2 questions, and then you can answer both, hopefully, with the time. One on Taiwan. Is there anything we can do to expedite our arms sales there? My understanding is that they've been stuck because of supply chain issues. And then the second on Yemen. Secretary Austin, one of the reasons I was strongly in support of your nomination to be the Secretary, and you've done an outstanding job, as you were an early critic of the war in Yemen. You were right. I'm encouraged by the recent ceasefire. Could you comment on what the United States will do if the Saudis violate the ceasefire, and whether we would be willing then to not provide spare parts to the Saudis if they violate it?
Well, we certainly hope that they don't violate it, and we don't have any reason to believe that they will. Again, every situation we'll have to treat on its merits there. But I think it's really a good first step, and we need to continue to encourage our allies and partners to stay focused on the right things here.
And on the Taiwan arms sales, is there anything we can do to expedite that, or why they've been slowed down?
Well, thanks. I this is a point of focus for me in making sure that we're doing everything that we said we're going to do in terms of providing the ability to for Taiwan to defend itself. So.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's time.